So today is the production day, rehearsal day, day 1 of the world tour. Setting everything up in here in a studio called the Hen Studios in Perth. And then we start here in Perth tomorrow. We have 2 shows to start the world tour. This is the day where we just make sure everything works and isn't broken from our flight of 24 hours long yesterday. Here we go. Get that, dude? Did you get it?
Get this on YouTube. Professional shit, dude. See that? We're definitely supposed to do that.
Good morning, it's fucking hot.
What's wrong with you, dude? There's gonna be kids watching this.
I forgot to shave today. I didn't bring my razor. So
Hey, hang on. Check this out. I forgot to shave, too.
Yo, film this, dude. Film this dog, dude.
Can I touch this dog? So after traveling 24 plus hours, we had to play 2 shows in one day, which is tough, especially, I know Derek kind of hates it. It sucks to have to put your body through that. And when we got to Perth, it was like the hottest day ever. Like we left January, 3rd, I think it was. So it was our winter, and then it was Australia's summer. So we get there and we're completely unprepared for the heat. And we're used to playing like shorter 30-minute sets, and now we're playing 2 headline sets, like hour sets. So really tested our abilities on that day, just like trying to just stay awake from the travel and adjusting to the new time difference. Absolutely killed us.
Those 2 shows, as much as they were kind of like daunting, like that proved to me that the world tour was going to be like insane.
Fuck everything ever. You heard it first. Don't let my mom is gonna have a stroke. Don't let her see
We were on tour with Neck Deep, so it was co-headline, so we just switched on and off every night. So Neck Deep closed the matinee show, and then we closed the show at night. And I think we got back to the room at like something like 1 or 2 a.m. We had to be up at like 7, and we were just like, with how tired we were like, oh man, like. So you hit a certain point where you stopped like complaining. You're just like, this sucks. Like, you're not like, oh, this fuck bullshit. You're like yelling, like, we're just like, oh god.
Worst, I'd have to turn it down and up all the time.
Dude, it's the worst. I don't know how.
Hi, Mom.
Flying to Brisbane.
Day 2 of the world tour started.
Orange juice.
Just
With pulp.
It's nice. I just stole this blanket. It's tight.
You didn't steal just one. You stole like a blanket for everybody on the flight. Blanket bandit here.
I understand why people are afraid to fly, but for me it was never like an issue. So it was really funny to just like bully Danny a little bit, because he was, I think, the only one in our group that was afraid. And of course, I quoted Dumb and Dumber where, you're more likely to die on the way to the airport than actually in a plane, which I think really like set his mind at ease.
So we showed up to our hotel in Brisbane for one of the first couple days, Australia. We had this sick hotel. It was like right on this like bay overlooking a bridge. We were on one of the top floors. Like there was a pool that we were all swimming in that like had a whole look of the city, like overview of this bridge and stuff.
And we go into the room and we literally just lost our shit. We were like, oh my God, this this is sick. Like we had a full like balcony with like chairs and stuff, like overlooking this like beautiful like water thing with like a bridge. And oh man, and like the shower was also like a jacuzzi tub. It was just absolutely mental. There was like a living room. After like 4 days of like travel and shows and just like, I need to go to bed. It was just like this beautiful like light at the end of the tunnel, and we were just so happy to finally stop suffering.
Nothing gets a cheaper laugh than just getting naked in front of your friends.
Oh my God. Yeah, I see Ryan's penis more than mine.
Well, we're here at Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. Gonna take a little walk around, maybe see some alligators, some bats, some kangaroos, and obviously hold some koalas.
Hold some smelly, pissed off bears.
Yep. Last time one shit on Tyler, so we're actually here to just beat every koala.
Mine didn't like me either.
Shit! I was shit on by a koala. Honestly, kangaroos are kind of mean. That was, I think, our third time at the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary, which I believe is in Brisbane. Every time we go, like all of us seriously spend almost like an hour just trying to get like a decent photo with a kangaroo.
Punch me.
I tried to dap him up. He wasn't down. Tried to get a pic. Nah. I don't know.
But I bond with the kangaroos a little more. I feel like we can really hang out. Those guys are my boys.
For anybody watching this, I don't get serious very often, but I need to let the viewers know that George Bush did.
I love animals, but it's true. If you don't have food, they're not really interested in talking to you. And it's kind of annoying. So I guess you could say I don't love animals.
You see these? These are nuts.
Have you ever seen something like that before? Me neither. It's inspiring.
Evan is my best friend and I love him, but he does some insane stuff sometimes. Like he went on this like, what was it, like 6 months of being veggie all day Evan.
Veggie all day, Evan.
Where he like just became vegetarian but only on tour. And it was just so frustrating because me and him always used to go get food together and I'm not vegetarian, so I have all the options that I want. And then it became this thing where it's like, well, I can't eat anything. And I'm like, Evan, you're not even a real vegetarian. You're only vegetarian on tour. Like, vegetarian all tour, Evan. There's this place called Lord of the Fries.
So when we're in Australia, whenever we see a Lord of the Fries, we have to go. It's like this all vegan, vegetarian like place that has burgers, fries, and things like that, and it's always great.
Yo, I spin this fucking shit
With all the traveling, all the flights and stuff, the only thing that really can kill Derek's voice is just lack of sleep. So we flew, Perth to Bris to Sydney. Sydney was the biggest show of the tour, like 1,200 sold out. We were very, very excited to play, and like he woke up that day, no voice. And we're like, God damn it! Like, so he was like, I'm not talking between songs. I can't talk between songs. And me and Ryan are just like not that great at talking between songs. Like, I can talk one-on-one, but I guess in front of big crowds, it's not that I'm nervous. I just don't know what to talk about. It's like, Australia, yeah. Kangaroos, right? Like koalas. Wait, is it on? I'm scared. Derek's voice is basically gone. Me and Ryan have been tasked with banter, which we never fucking do. This should be interesting.
Our banter is a toilet. We gave Evan a mic last night for the first time ever.
We gave Evan a mic.
That's how dire we are. I think we're gonna kill it tonight.
Oh, that's gonna be great. The banter is gonna be
I don't
shit.
think so.
Take off days pretty seriously, especially when we're in a place like Australia or anywhere overseas. So we got to go to this place called Guatemala. It was kind of like this lagoon kind of thing where like we could go cliff jumping. We had a barbecue, had drinks all day with like us, Neck Deep, and all the crew and everybody that was just hanging that day. Made some friends out there. Just kind of like everybody vibing, like jumping off cliffs. There's a waterfall. It was like so beautiful there.
That off day will go down as one of the sickest off days we've ever had. I talk about it all the time. Not really like a big adrenaline guy. I mean, I like adrenaline rushes, they're fun, but like the anxiety buildup is like too much sometimes. So I was just like super scared, but I figured like if I got fucked up, my boys were there and they would like save me.
It's something like, we'll always look back at that. Probably one of the coolest off days we've ever had, I'd say.
Give me a boost, Ty.
I broke my ankle, both my ankles, my left heel in 2012, jumping off of an overpass in Iowa. At that time, I was like a cliff diving, bridge jumping fiend. One day, I was driving on the way to a show and saw this highway overpass with like a huge body of water, and I was like, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna pull over, jump off that, and get back in the car and go to the show. Took off all my clothes except my underwear, and I jumped right in and found out that it wasn't deep enough when I hit the bottom. I was unable to walk for almost a year, probably like 9-10 months. So since then, I hadn't bridge jumped or cliff dove or anything for about 4 years. This was like the perfect opportunity, I think, for me to like get back into it.
Look at this. You found some buried treasure, mate. Almost. Watch your hand, mate.
There we go, baby! Yeah! Woo!
Grab the cone and go. You could if you weren't a coward. Oh!
Well, yeah, basically in Australia, as aforementioned, you fly everywhere. So, you know, you had to take a very short connection to like Sydney or somewhere else to fly to the next place. Like,
Well, since it was 2 bands, us and Neck Deep with all the crew, we're basically all of us is half the plane, if not the whole plane. These little tiny rickety planes, some like pretty sketch and scary. The little propeller planes that like is an everyday plane that you just take from, you know, New York to LA or domestic flights in the US. It's like a different kind of thing. Got to walk out onto the runway basically and like just get on the plane through stairs.
What the fuck is that? It's going to be mad bumpy, isn't it? It's like a toy.
when we landed, nobody had their bags because this plane was so small, they couldn't fit all of our stuff. It was us at the airport, like I think there was 18 bags missing or something. And it was just like, what the hell? Like,
I am like one of the most unlucky people when it comes to like things at the airport being lost. I've had a bag lost. I've had a bass just not come the entire time I was in New Zealand. Airport lost my acoustic guitar. I lost my bag again. It's funny to happen to me because like everybody expects me to already like make a joke out of something, and then if something happens to me, the jokes are so intensified because I just like love to hate myself.
I could never resist. So prepare to be noticed. I hope that you know it's hard. I find it hard to wait one. No, I don't wanna walk alone.
While we were out in Australia, it was at the time that we got the opportunity to do our first magazine covers for Alternative Press, but we had to do the cover shoot for it while we were in Australia. So we took a day to go to this like photo studio and do a whole thing with all these elaborate little scenes. Like, there's one where it's us and Neck Deep together doing this like kind of the Last Supper thing. We never even used that. We never used it. They didn't want to use it apparently, but I thought it took so long to set up. We had like gummy worms and pizza and chips and soda all over this table, and we're all like just being idiots.
Ben's like on this like crate, like passing us, and like we're like, ah, like, it's just like so hard to.
I knew that it took time and a fucked up mind just to stay in line. But all the value I could demonstrate in all the places that I've grown to hate. Will they? Oh my God! Jesus. I just tell myself that I'm not a victim, but I own up to the mistakes that I made. I can see through it all. The world's never gonna fall back as where you're at. Out with the old, let the truth be told. Shape up and stand tall.
These photos have never been seen by anybody except for us. We did the Alternative Press cover shoot with Neck Deep in Australia. Me and Phil thought it would be a good idea to get naked and pose with our basses. Of course, those aren't the photos that made it into the magazine, which I think if they did, that magazine would have flown off the shelves. You would have thought that it was 21 Pilots on the cover, but if those photos were in there, it would have been iconic. You blew it. You made a mistake.
I can see through it all. The world's never gonna fall back. That's where you're at. Out with the old, let the truth be told. Shape up and stand tall.
So one of the last off days we had out in Australia, and it was in Melbourne at the time. We went golfing. That was great. I love I like to think I'm some serious golfer, but I really only go once or twice a year. But it's cool if you get to go to in a place like Australia. We went like, it was right on the water, like on the beach there. Took a day, me, Evan, Elliot, and our good friends Simo and Jai from Australia, and they're actually really good at golfing, so they made us look like shit the whole time. So, but we just we just had fun with it, driving the golf carts around. I took one shot and we heard it fly.
Ooh! Oh God! Oh God!
In the distance, and all we heard was this like big crash, and then someone yelled. I think it went into someone's house and hit a person, and we had to just dart out of there.
Each one of us grabbed our ball, got in our car, and literally found the nearest road and just like skipped 5 or 6 holes, and then just started playing like nothing happened.
It's a baby roe, not a baby though, a big one, a really big one.
I'm a realist and an optimist, but I swear to you, I'm not getting over this. Walking tall in a small town, full of yourself when you're feeling down, and that's all that matters to you. Can't pretend anymore, talk is cheap, I said that before. But you can still take